Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'll be discussing what was my newborn and new mom must-have. Sophia's not a newborn anymore. She's 6 months. So I thought it'd be a good time to kind of just go over everything that was super helpful or necessary for me during those first 3 months. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with the newborn must-haves. Let's start off with the obvious, a car seat. If you don't have a car seat, then you can't leave the hospital with your baby because they require a car seat. And second must-have for me were bottles. I do recommend getting bottles even if you're planning on breastfeeding, because you don't know if your milk supply might come in later, which is kind of what happened to me. I had a low milk supply in the beginning, so I did have to supplement in the beginning, and it was helpful to already have those bottles and to go out and buy them last minute. Hi, mamas. And since we're talking about breastfeeding, I would recommend the Boppy. This is helpful when you're new to breastfeeding and barely getting the hang of it. It just helps you so you don't have all the weight of your baby on you. Your baby is on the Boppy and you're kind of more focused on just the feeding. My other recommendations are these muslin swaddles. These are handy because it, like, when you wrap them up, they feel all nice and cozy, like if they were still in the womb. But also if your baby is born during the hotter seasons, you could kind of just use it as like a blanket. Sofia was born during fall, which is more cool season, which is more cool weather. So softer, warmer blankets were a must-have for me. I don't want to go too into like clothing must-haves because I feel like every parent is different with how they dress their child, but my number one clothing must-have for sure was these sleep bags. Why did I love these? Because when I had to be up like every 2 hours feeding and changing diapers, it was really easy to just like zip it, and I wouldn't have to be putting her feet anywhere in any holes. I didn't have to be putting buttons up, so that was super helpful. Sorry if I'm looking down a lot. I have a list to make sure I don't forget anything. So yeah, if you are gonna be using a pacifier, I do recommend having pacifier clips, unless you want to be cleaning passies all day. Another must-have for me was a bathtub. Funny story, when she was just born, like for the first 3 months, she hated showering. Anytime me or my mom would try to bathe her, she would just cry. And how we would get her not to cry, well, how I would get her not to cry was actually bathing with her. So I would take her with me in the bathtub and I would shower her with me in the bathtub. Does that make sense? So basically every time we were gonna bathe her, I would have to bathe with her so that she wouldn't cry. But not anymore. She likes bathing now, so that's good. And on the note of bathtubs, you do need some type of scrub. I would just use these, which are like these little washcloths, and these are multifunctional because they also work as like burp cloths, or for spit up you can just kind of clean it off, and they work as a washcloth for washing your baby. You're also going to need some type of snot sucker. The one I use is the Nose Frida one. Not sure where it is right now, but basically it's the one where it has the tube and you suck on it and it gets the boogers out. I just feel like that one's more sanitary than the basic one with the one that you squeeze. You guys know what I'm talking about? Like the ones that they give you at the hospital. Because those, you can't really clean them. So I prefer the Nose Frida. A must-have for me was a diaper pail for sure. I didn't want to be taking the trash from the bathroom out like 5 times a day. So a diaper pail was a must-have for me. I got the Ubi diaper pail. Also, of course, Some type of changing mat is a must-have, unless you want to get doo-doo on your comforters. Also diapers, of course, wipes, some type of ointment for rashes. I use the A&D preventative ointment. That one's worked really well for us. I did forget to mention also bath towels, baby towels, you know, like the ones that have like the little hood and you wrap them up after you're finished showering. Those were a must have for me. A baby bouncer, so that one was really helpful, and I got it for like $20 or $30 at Burlington, and I still use it till this day. Basically, anytime that I need to do anything like cook or shower or change, I would put her in there and bring her with me so that I could take care of her, but I wouldn't have to be carrying her. So it was kind of like a lounger for me. And my number one baby must have for sure would have to be a baby swing. Why do I say this? Because when you're up at like 3 in the morning and your baby won't go to sleep, what I would do is put Sophia in the swing, and the music and the swing would just sway her, and sometimes she would fall asleep in there, and that would give me like a little break so that I wouldn't have to be carrying her. And yeah, it was nice having that. Another must have are like toys that make sound, not necessarily because they can play with them during the newborn stage, but just because they make sound, it like catches their attention. A safety must have for sure is a thermometer. You don't know when your baby can like be having a high fever, so it's important to check if you think they might have a fever, because fevers are very dangerous in little babies. Moving on to mommy must-haves, I highly recommend having some type of carrier. This is a ring sling carrier by the brand Kite Baby, and the reason I chose this one is because it has pockets. So whenever we would go on walks, I would usually carry like my keys and my phone in there. Another mom must-have if you're breastfeeding is the Haka pump. I love this pump because you're like breastfeeding on one side, and instead of wasting the milk on the other side, you can like put the pump and you can save that milk. They have the Lanzano double electric pump as well, but I mostly use that one in the beginning of my new mom stage, kind of just to get my milk to come in, and it did help, but I don't use it anymore, only when I need a pump and dump. But yeah, also what are these called? What are they called? Just like the bamboo pads for your breasts so you don't get milk everywhere. I got these on Amazon and they came in this little cute pouch. You'll also need some type of drying rack for any pumps, like manual pumps or bottles that you have. I have this one, I think it's by the brand OXO Tot. I also have the one that looks like grass, but I prefer this one a lot more. If you're breastfeeding also during the beginning of your breastfeeding journey, I believe that you'll need some type of lanolin cream for sore nipples. Once the newborn stage is over, like after 3 months, you'll probably get used to breastfeeding too, and you won't be in pain. But like when you're barely start breastfeeding, it can be super painful. At least for me it was. Oh, and I also suffered from mastitis like during her 2 month, when she was like 2 months old. I got mastitis and that was painful, but like having lanolin cream was helpful. Also, milk storage bags if you're breastfeeding, so you can store milk for later on, just in case you're going back to work or when you're not around. Whoever is taking care of your baby can provide them with breast milk with a bottle. And I highly also recommend having snacks, because when you're waking up at 2, 4, 6, basically every 2 hours, you're going to need to re-energize. So I recommend having like granola bars, protein bars, fruit like apples, bananas. And I wish I did this and I didn't. I wish I would have had meals prepped so that I would just have to pop them in the microwave and I would be able to eat them, because with a newborn it was really hard to cook in the beginning. It took me a while to be able to start cooking. So yeah, I do wish that I would have had meals prepped already. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I needed. Not too many stuff. And if you have any other mom must-haves or newborn must-haves, you can put them down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.